characters, not Saiyans. Most of them are Saiyans, but they're not all Saiyans. I'm gonna express my opinion on why I like them. It's my opinion. So, and then you guys can tell me what your favorites are in the comments. That'd be pretty cool. Well, okay, I'm gonna start from 5 and go up to 1. Most of you probably know who my favorite character is already, but okay. Number 5 for me is Vegeta. Yeah, I know a lot of people love him. He's like number 1 for many people, but you know, he's number 5 for me. Like also because he's kind of overrated in my opinion. Like a lot of people like him. It just got a little annoying that some people like him. I don't know, but that's not the reason. Like I like him. He's like a really strong-headed character. Like I like that about him. I like that he's really like I like his stubbornness kind of, you know. But the thing is that I think especially in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, like I thought he like whined a little bit too much. Like he'd always be like, "Oh, I want to be stronger than you, Goku." And, you know, he always was like complaining because he would never be as strong as him, or he would surpass Goku at some point, but then he goes way beyond him. Like, you know, he turns Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta's like, "What the fuck?" and all that stuff. And like, it's always been like some kind of rivalry between them. But of course, that's how it is. But I mean, I don't know. And I like the stubbornness and stuff, but I think like his cockiness got a little bit too much of him. I don't know. I just don't really like the cockiness so much. I always, for some reason, got a little annoyed at Vegeta, and a lot of DBZ fans love him. I mean, I don't hate him or anything. He's definitely not my favorite, in my opinion. And then a lot of DBZ people like him. Which I like him. He's just not my favorite one. He's cool. I love that he's really determined on things. That's one thing. But I just kind of don't like when he's always like, Goku's better. He never could accept it until the very end, kind of, almost, right? He was like, fine, you are stronger than me, like at the very end, like in the booth. Hope you can hear me. Okay. Number 4 for me is Piccolo. I like Piccolo. He's pretty beast. I liked him from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, you know. It's so cool how he's like, it's the same sense with Vegeta. I think it's so cool how they were both villains. They were both like, ha, Goku, you suck. And then all of a sudden, like, they started to warm up to, like, you know, to him, and they became friends. But it was a lot quicker with Piccolo, you know. I mean, in Dragon Ball, he was the enemy. But then, in Dragon Ball Z, you know, they teamed up for the Raditz and all that. He's like, you know, I don't want anybody beating you. Like, I'm supposed to be the one doing it, so I'm being on your team for now. You know, just to beat this one guy, then I'm gonna beat your ass. But, like, then, you know, after that, the Saiyans were gonna come. He was like, fuck, those people, they're after him, and he's supposed to be my guy to beat up. But then he was like, fine, whatever, you know, I know your son can do this, and he trains him, and that's when, you know, it's just, they become friends. It's because of the bond, and I think mainly the thing with Gohan is what made him turn around. And his bond with Gohan and all that. I really like how he's all like, he has like that calmness to him, in my opinion. Just the way he acts, it's really like, do this, you know. Like, he knows what he's talking about, so I think he always knows what he's talking about most of the time. I really like him like that. I always thought he was, like, cool looking, too. Especially when I was little, I was like, oh, some green guy with, like, pointy ears and, like, I don't know, he just looked cool, especially the regenerating thing. It's fucking cool. I always liked him. He's a pretty beast character. I really like Piccolo a lot. Number 3 for me is Future Trunks. Not Kid Trunks, or, you know, I like Future Trunks. I know a lot of people like Future Trunks. Especially a lot of the girls always, I remember, had some kind of thing for Future Trunks. I don't know. I always thought he was hot. I personally had a crush on Goku, but but I like Future Trunks a lot. Just the look of his character, he looks really badass. I don't know why. I just like his jacket and like the sword. A lot of people like him because of the sword. I don't know why, but a lot of people love swords. And I really like that about him. And but like his whole story was so like interesting. Like, well, he came here from the future, and like he's here to get some message with Goku. He's gonna die, and he knew what was going on. The time machine and blah, and like the history of Trunks thing. I love that, especially that made me even like him more. The history of Trunks, so you like know about his past and stuff, and the reason why and how and why it happened, because he found out in his future everybody dies. He's like I gotta help them out, and that's when he goes to that time and gives Goku the medicine, and that's what it was about. It was pretty cool, and like and it was just awesome like that Bulma had him young there at that time. It's just so weird, and he's like, oh hey, that's me, and then because of that he changed his future, and the future turned out different. I mean, I see that the Trunks that he ended up being, definitely not as cool as the future Trunks, you know what I'm saying? Like GT, you don't really count it very much, but let's just do it for now. Like, you can't compare the GT Trunks to the future Trunks. Look, how much more badass is the future one than the GT? You know what I'm saying? That's what he ended up being. Well, if you count GT, but if you don't, then he still wasn't as cool. He still wasn't as determined, or I don't know how to explain it. He wasn't as serious and stuff. So, but anyway, number 2 for me is Gohan. I love Gohan. He's one of my favorites. I like Gohan more when he was during the Cell Saga. That's when I really liked him, and I really liked him actually in this the beginning, when he was younger. I know he was more cowardly, but I still liked him. I don't know, I just always liked Gohan. I really liked his long hair. I really loved it. But I liked how he was so good, so cute. Like, he was always like, I don't want to fight, I don't want to, and then he hated fighting. He really hated fighting. And Goku liked fighting more than him. And then he finally got pushed to do it because, he saw everybody was getting hurt, and he's like, I gotta do this, I have to do this to save everybody. And that's when he turned Super Saiyan 2 and all that stuff, and he beat Cell and all that. And I really liked him during that. I really liked how you could see him progress through Dragon Ball Z. I think that's pretty cool. You see how he was all scared and everything in the beginning, and then you see him turn into this warrior, this strong guy. And I like that in the Buu Saga too, how he's all like Mystic Gohan, all badass, hey, look at me. I like that. I like how you can see him evolve, from him being little to him growing up. That's why I like Gohan so much. You can see him change throughout the whole series. And then of course, same with Goku, but number 1 is Goku. For me, I always loved him the best. I know everyone's like, well, Goku, well, he's the main character, but I really like him. I always liked him. I loved how he was so happy, and he was always in a good spirit, and he fought. He liked. I know he liked fighting, but I mean, he did it because of he had to save the Earth, and that's what I mean. If he didn't have to, you wouldn't have to. I mean, they had those times of peace and all that. But I really like Goku. He's always he always has his funny moments, and he has his he's always has happiness. He's always he's always in a good spirit, and I always like that. And I mean, especially that he is always happy and everything, and he's a really good warrior. I really like that, how he's able to keep that, but being a strong, really strong, determined fighter and everything. See, with Vegeta, he's always so much more and not as happy and everything, and it's just, I think that's when Vegeta realized, wow, I think that's why Goku is always better than me, because of the way he is and the way he thinks about things and stuff like that. And that's why I like Goku a lot. And of course you see him evolve throughout the whole series, because he's the main guy. And I always liked Goku. I always thought Goku was the best. That's my opinion on him. I always loved him. And especially that, not just because he's the strongest and everything, I just like him a lot. I like the way he is. And of course, I love each and every one of their stories. Each and every one of the character stories are so awesome, and how everything happened, and how they met each other, and how Goku, he was supposed to be evil, but he hit his head, and then he turned to a good guy. It's just really cool. I like all their stories. That's why I love Dragon Ball Z. The story is awesome. But anyway, that's my opinion. Those are my 5 top 5,